Hello, fellow sinners. It's me, the newest of former Jezebels, to finally turn towards repentance and a life dedicated to God, Shane. And welcome to the Redemption Arc, where we have candid conversations about the trials of being human towards the main plot of it all, God's plan. Come with me on this journey of making things right, showing gratitude, and spreading information about positivity to help you be a little better every day through the grace of God. Ever wonder what happens when you defy God? Or wonder what happens when you don't listen or just ignore? In this episode, we are going to talk about personal experiences with idolatry and worship. First, a few announcements. I'll be going hard on fundraising for a few of my favorite nonprofit organizations. One of them being Stack Up. So, Stack Up is a nonprofit organization that supports veterans through a shared love of, and they have multiple programs such as the Stacks, supply crates, air assaults, and the Stack Up Overwatch program. If you would like to know more information about Stack Up or would like to donate, please take a look at the Tiltify link in the description below. Also, starting this month and every month, I will be hosting both virtual and in-person events. I'll be posting up flyers coming soon. If you're interested in sponsoring or collaborating, please send me a DM on Instagram, either on at Shane Reigns or at the Redemption. Okay, so recently I've been rededicating myself to reading more and learning more about what other Christians are doing or thinking in order for them to walk their path the best that they can. And one of those things, I feel like last year, when I was first inspired to and encouraged to go to church, one of the things that I realized was that I was engaging in self worship, idolatry. So, if you're not sure what idolatry is, it's when you choose to worship something else over God. You're not supposed to do that. And self worship is choosing yourself, like worshiping yourself. And that's like over God. And I think that I realized what I was doing as a means of being disobedient. There were so many different ways that I was being disobedient, and I've been really trying to push more to be obedient and changing my behavior and to because I really have to make so many changes in order to become a better person. You're not sure you're a good person until slowly but surely through those little here's, little there's, little snacking on sin becomes a big thing, and then you realize you've created a pattern, and now this is who you are. The thing about self worship is it's also not just you worshiping you. There was something that I recently heard in a podcast called We Need to Talk. They had a guest named Tiffany Buckner, and she was amazing. I actually bought her book, and I'll be reading that book. I'm not sure if I'll do like a public reading or a private reading, just so like I find that if I only think about what I'm meant to do, I don't actually do it, but I'll run through like my that I'm doing it, so I'll feel tired, but haven't actually done it at all. And I don't want that to happen with this book because I really want to read it. I know that there's going to be words in there that are meant for me through Tiffany that I'm supposed to hear and learn and absorb. And something that she said I resonate so much is that it's the same like spirit that's you see in the same people. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about like myself and how I view myself. And so during Tiffany's guesting on the We Need to Talk podcast, she talked about her experience with the Jezebel spirit. And the thing that she said that really resonates with me is that it's the same spirit, but like dressed in different people. Even when you're not looking at it through like a Christian perspective, there's this idea that if someone doesn't heal the wounds, they're gonna keep on dating the same person basically. And from a Christian perspective, it's the same thing, but it's a spirit that's in the same person that's like overcomes somebody else in order to get to you, to like reap you basically. And it sucks even more when that spirit finds itself or another version of itself in somebody else, and both those people in their own narcissistic way feed on each other to not only worship themselves but also each other. And it's so gross. It's such a like gross image. And I think that for me, when I realized that self-worship, one of the things that I had to change was my relationship with my looks, or like looking at myself in the mirror, because I've always struggled with my image. And over time, for a while, it was hard for me to look at myself in the mirror. And then over time, it became I couldn't stop looking at myself in the mirror. Every time I was to pass by my reflection, I make sure to look at myself. And that's just the same spirit worshiping itself. Because eventually I noticed that it was really like stopping me from being able to do things. Because it was almost also like this idea of being perfect. In order for me to put something out there, it has to be perfect. And I need to look good in like every still basically, or funny. And it wasn't really, and I was losing the point of the content, which is very saddening because that's not the way to do things. That it really sucks to like now I'm making it a note not to use my face in content as much as possible, mainly my voice, because then it takes away that desire. Because if I'm too much into how I look, or it how people will view me, for some reason it really catches onto that spirit of lust, of like wanting to be desirable, and that really takes away from the content. So if I'm talking about the Lord and the things that I've learned, it's important to make sure that that's not blocked by me being unhappy with the way that I look on camera. So now with me creating this type of format, it feels a lot better. It's a challenge and something to take on, see if it helps. So far, it's helping me significantly because I'm creating content much faster and I'm already scheduling them out. So if I schedule them out enough, I'll have enough, or at least for as much as possible, like consistent full schedule for the next couple of months. And then I want to give myself until like the end of Q1, which is end of March, to fill up the queues. And if I'm able to fill up the queues, I can double up on content the other days. Then it can really be daily. So we'll see. So I'd like to turn it back to talking about God, because there are so many references to the Bible. I got this list from Open Bible. I'll put a link in the description below so that you can also see, because I chose a few that I liked to talk about. Another thing that I learned from the We Need to Talk podcast is the Bible is not finite, and I agree with that, because what it is it's almost like a starter kit, and then there's other things that God has to download into us that we cannot discern. And as long as it's coming from a place of love and doing good unto others, that's the reflection of God and Jesus and what they want us to do and how we should present ourselves and how we should treat other people as. Because if it was the other way, it's not real. So these are Bible verses that I looked up on Open Bible that support that we are meant to only worship God. Exodus 34:14. For you shall worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. This is from the ESV. Matthew 4:10. Then Jesus said to him, Begone, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. Exodus 20, verse 1 to 3. And God spoke all these things, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. Okay. And then Luke 4:8. And Jesus answered him, It is written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. And then there are so many more that I encourage you to take a look at the link that I posted below, just to help you with informing yourself of Bible verses that support that we're only meant to serve God and worship him. Which verse stands out for you the most? So this is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested in sharing your testimony or being a guest, please feel free to send me a DM or to get in contact with me via Instagram and let me know. Question for you, please let me know your answer in the comments is, what has been your experience with idolatry and self-worship? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and check out more content in the channel. Please. Thank you so much, and peace be with you.